Greetings, rise and shine, brethren. We are the World Global Reset Restoration Network family, comprised of 198 sovereign nations with over 7 billion sovereign principles, being of one mind, one heart, and one spirit, walking together under the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I come to you as a voice in the wilderness to introduce to you a man. No, not just any man, but a man sent by Yah Allah to redeem mankind. Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson, the Adak Chief Justice of the Universal World Court, and who's also known as Yehoshua Mashiach, the Son of Man. The information that you will be receiving in this and other videos you won't get from anywhere else on the planet. Hear the many truths and fulfillment of the laws, judgments, and sentencings from our Creator, Father Yah, as well as the fulfillment of the true interpretation of the Holy Scriptures and books. Now, without further ado, Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson with his beloved host, Shelley Bowling.
The feminist force now is still waiting to be able to receive something they call child support. They're looking for it. They're out trying to find some way to talk to the judges and talk to the lawyers and talk to the nation and talk to the government about them getting their would-be pay from child support. But none of them are truly supporting the child. See, makeup and fingernails does not come in the price of child support, but it's being used for that purpose. Stay with me. Don't get angry with me. I'm getting you to understand why you're going to get more plagues until you understand that you are in what we know to be an error to the things in which are part of the laws of God. So stay with me. Don't go running off because you're too busy trying to believe that the system is going to save you and the government is going to take care of you. You'll probably be the last one to get tested. And if you do get tested, they're going to give you one of those tests that's going to say negative when they know it's positive. Stay with me. And stop jumping up, getting all hot around the collar. Listen to me. They have a plan for you. The one who can go into the courtroom and cry and get those big alligator tears up, where everyone has been listening to her and taking care of her. Let me help you out, knowing that they're only going to give her 10% of whatever she's going to be asking for, and they're going to keep the rest, called 90%, for themselves. But now they realize they don't need her for that anymore, because now they can just take it off the top. So they're going to, they're going to eliminate the middleman. Eliminating the middleman is because now that they have a law that says that it has to be paid or that it has to be given, they're going to eliminate the middleman who they have to share it with. Stay with me, God Almighty. You don't know how it works, do you? But you're about to find out. Go right ahead. I know there's some disagreeing parents out there. But you need to understand, we got just as many disagreeing fathers as we got disagreeing mothers right now. Because the fathers have already come to a conclusion that if they're taking everything that I've got except for 10%, and she's only getting 10%, then somebody by chance is getting at least 80% that we need to know about. Well, you can't talk to them, I would say. Them, I'm talking about the unrighteous that's classifying themselves as being mothers or the other parent. Fathers, you're included. You can't talk to them because they're too busy being those people that they refuse to humble themselves. They refuse to pray and seek my face. They're too busy trying to find some way to trick or manipulate one another, whereby they will be able to destroy one another based upon the fact that they have so much hate in their hearts for the other. No love involved, they would say. Never was and never will be, they would say. But somehow they got chests out on their back where they have someone now that lies between them and the other party. They would be God Almighty. You know, the greatest thing about all that's happening right now is that all of the other 198 nations, sovereign nations, are behind it, making sure that the world do not forget that this so-called place that called itself the United States of America has been nothing more than a band of thieves who has stolen a nation that was amongst 5 nations. They managed to home guard and bogart their way into nothing more than trying to kill off the people, believing that if by the time the people would come to realize it, they would be too weak to fight. But as we know now, they're still at it, as my beloved would say. They're trying to put old Brother Joe, Uncle Joe, into the White House. But at the same time, they're trying to see if they can invest in its would-be growing popularity, knowing that it will once again grace the stage of being a great nation of 5 nations that will again be classified as free people. And they believe that they have the ideal plan, knowing that it's not a plan at all. It's just something that they want to execute, to be able to hold on to some type of would-be later on ideal that they might be able to take it over again. Let me help you out. Uncle Joe, and all of those that are classified to be his so-called supporters. Black folks, I'm talking to you especially. If you think by some chance that old Uncle Joe is going to be able to ride into the White House as the president and take along some black female with him, or some so-called female that he would classify to be a female of color, you think he's going to ride into the White House and at some point in time, knowing that he himself is senile, knowing that he himself is suffering a serious disease where half the time he can't even realize if he's going or coming. He don't know what year he's in right now. He don't know if he's still in the 1950s or if he's trying to climb out the 1960s while still riding in a red truck with a rope on the backboard and with nothing more than an easy rider rifle rack in the rear windshield. He don't know where he's at right now. But he do know that as they have sat him down and explained to him in many meetings that he's having now, that if he himself going to the White House knowing that his time will be limited to something that he will exit very shortly, world in which he come out of, they have already determined that if he takes, excuse me for this analysis, but I have to tell you exactly what they have written on the book. He's going to take a nigger female into the White House, as they would say, with him. They believe that they can invest in this nigger female, whereby knowing that if they put her in there at the right time and make all of the nigger females who outnumbers the average people on the planet when it comes down to voting, they're the majority that vote. Excuse me, nigger females. I'm not saying black women. So I don't want anybody to become offended by what I'm saying. I'm just giving you their percentage rate of whom they're targeting. They call them nigger females. They want the ones that are angry with their husbands. They want the ones that are angry with their baby daddies. They want the ones that are angry with men, period. Stay with me? They want the ones who definitely, truly can't stand white women. Listen to me. They calling these nigger females, but they're not using the word female. They're calling them the female doll version of a would-be nigger female. Stay with me. I know I'm not trying, and I'm trying to tiptoe through confusion, whereby the black females of the planet must realize that you cannot become one of those nigger females. You cannot allow yourself to run out and start voting for Sister Abrams or Sister Harris. Let me help you out. They got others. They got a whole slew of them right now. But they're banking on the fact that they believe that if they can ride them into the White House on the coattail of a frail white man, it's like almost the would-be master himself is going to die in the house, and his nigger female is going to take charge. And she's going to finish up the job in which he himself will not be able to finish. This is the program that they have set forth and set up just for you. No, I really can care less whether they vote in a female or melanated female or any other type female. You have to understand that I already know the United States of America does not exist. So at best, they're going to be playing up under her dress tail as they have now for all of the 240 plus years, and I'm sure they were playing under her dress 400 and 500 and 600 years ago. And they've been able to convince her that her sons are not strong enough. They've been able to convince her that her husbands are not strong enough. They've been able to convince her that her father is not strong enough to be a great leader. They're convinced her of that. I'm not talking about black females. So let me make sure I make that cleared up. They're talking about the nigger female. They say that she is totally convinced now, that beyond any reasonable doubt, that if you're going to be a strong, powerful, dark and handsome man, and if you don't look like Clark Gable, you don't fit the description. Stay with me. God almighty. You ain't got it yet, but you will. It's going to creep into your life so fast that you're going to get snuffed out. And by the time June 19th come about again, there's some female out there marching around as if though she was the one that set all of the niggas free. Stay with me, God almighty. You don't get it yet. I want you to understand what I've been faced with when sitting down with the other nations. The other nations are very much now consumed with one question. Dr. Henderson, we ourselves have already saw the evidence. We have seen where you went before the Universal World Court several times. We also have seen where you, ears of all of the judges of the ICJ, International Court of Justice, whereby came to 2002, they decided that what you were saying was true. It was fact. And they could no longer refuse to vote in a manner where it would at least accommodate that which you were speaking of. Because they found that themselves, they were part of this would-be complaint. And they wanted to make sure that they themselves would not be left out of the complaint. They didn't want to take charge of it. They didn't want to be the one that would have been the founder of the complaint. But they wanted to make sure they wasn't left out of it. But Dr. Henderson, we still have a question for you. And that question is, why is it that even after you started out in 1984 summoning the courts, you started questioning the courts, the ICJ, the Supreme Court? But we want to know, why is it that now we have so many complaints that have followed you to do the exact same thing that you have already done? You've already completed it. I would question is why you have so many complaints that have followed your complaint, where you've already got a decision. It's already been finalized. And here we have all of these black females that are steadily trying to put in a complaint of a system and a situation that has already been completed. Can you answer that for us, Dr. Henderson? Wow. I know. You guys are listening to the silence because that's exactly what I give them. Because I need you to understand that, yes, Dr. Henderson do recognize why. And right now, if they're listening to me, this is the only way they're going to get the answer, because right now I'm talking to the United States of America on their call, and I know that there's a lot of black females that's listening to me right now. I need to say these words to them. Stop it! You already have a decision. You already have a judgment. We don't need you to write any more letters. We don't need you to make any more complaints. If you're trying to outdistance the melanated masculine force on the planet, let me help you out. You are too late. You were not there when he said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He was a melanated masculine force. His name was not Mama Yah. Stop it. If you're trying to be the first feminine force on the planet to overthrow all man and mankind, go right ahead. But let me help you out. You're too late. You're already under and in conditions right now where the masculine force is bringing you out, and you cannot even just for one moment stop and recognize it. I'm talking to my sisters out there. I need you to hear me. I need you to understand that I am not one of those masculine forces that's going to sit back and relax and be quiet just because you may just refuse to give me a vote, or that you may just refuse to even sleep with me, because I don't need that. I don't need any of that. What I need you to do is recognize the fact that it has already been completed, and until you acknowledge that, we are going to be having some serious problems, because the rest of the nations are about up to their necks with you. They're mentioning it, and you're not even paying attention to it. While your government is slowly trying to slip and slide like they have in the past, trying to bring up people like those in whom they call Madam C.J. Walker. We understand. Go ahead. Keep playing your movies. Bring them on Netflix. It all sounds good. At the end of the day, They're not the masculine force that leads our family. We understand. You want Harriet Tubman, or perhaps you want one you call who? Mother Moses? Harriet Tubman. You want her on a $20 bill. You want to put her on money. You want to make them shine just so you can try to show up the masculine black force that they are nothing, right? Is that what you're trying to do? Is that what we need to hear? Whatever happened to John Henderson, the first president of the United States of America, a melanated man? I haven't heard anyone, not one government official, want to place his picture on any would-be bill, knowing that a $2 bill has him sitting at the president's table on the back of it. But no one, not one official has mentioned his name to go on the $5 or $20 or any other type of dollar. But they want to put Harriet Tubman on that. They want to put Sir Journey Truth on there. Anybody but a black masculine force, right? And now you want to ride them into the White House because you failed. You came short of putting a black man in the White House, for as you're concerned. No, you put an Oreo in the White House, you would say. A half white and a half black man. Now you want to try to put a full-blooded black woman in there just so you can at least erase half of what he done. How dare you? I dare you, old redneck American system that you have always been and shall always be, until you recognize that to be a redneck, you have to be the deepest racist on the planet. Meantime, you just keep on slapping yourself on the back of the back, missing your back but hitting your neck every time. This creates more redness. And you are failing to feel the pain of your ignorance. Stay with me. I have to do this. And now, once again, you want to try to destroy the black forces of the planet. Masculine. The one that stepped out upon the face of the deep, and everything was void, and it was black. Pitch black. A masculine force, and now you want to try to ease in some feminine force, whether it be black, blue, green, purple, or brown. It'll be your world, right? Your town. Let me help you out. Not going to happen. Believe me, I understand the Underground Railroad. I understand all of that. I understand Sir Journey Truth. I know exactly what her goal was. I understand Harriet Tubman. I know what her goals were. You might want to take a closer look at their would-be record, because they themselves was not trying to glorify themselves. They were trying to bring forth and glorify people by way of even using their father's name. Stay with me. Their father. Not your father, not their mother, but they were trying to use their father's name to glorify the world. So it's not about them. No, we cannot attack them. We cannot disrespect them because they had the right intentions. It's those who call themselves taking advantage of them that has always tried to sway the decision in a manner whereby they will still always have the door open. It's like them having a baby's mama. And they believe in that every time they can't find a new lady to put in their life, they can always go back to her and pick up where they left off. Stay with me. Don't get angry. As if, no, the world don't have enough baby mamas in it. Now we have to talk to the baby mama in which those like Fredrick Douglass would have been very much displeased with, knowing that they would have been somewhere President whom now we deem to be in the White House. He'd have been very much displeased with them just as he was. Fredrick Douglass was very displeased with them, knowing that Alexander Hamilton, yes, was more looked up to. He was more honored, more respect than he was. Fredrick Douglass was very much heartbroken just to know that all of his people were truly looking up and believing that they were saved by a man by the name of Abraham Lincoln, when Abraham Lincoln was getting all of his advice from Fredrick Douglass. Wow, what a slap in the face. And old Thomas Jefferson must have been smiling from ear to ear, knowing that he himself did nothing more than spend most of his time in his own private would-be chambers, sleeping with a black female when the whole world was falling apart. Stay with me. I'm not trying to attack you, America. I'm getting you to understand reality of who you are, where you came from, how you came to be, and why is it that now you have been totally destroyed and you still refuse to recognize it. You destroyed yourself. No one destroyed you. Your lies finally caught up with you. Your manipulation has finally caught up with you. Your under-table dealing has finally caught up with you. And you still have to ask the question, as I do, why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? I say, they have been taught by the best. You, the kings of the earth, they set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against Yahweh, God of the universe. And I say they have had a great teacher, you. But Obadiah has already given you the warning. You still refuse to accept it. Now you're backtracking on trying to close down areas that you open up, which you knew in the beginning you only open them up that people would lose their lives rather than gain their lives. It was like you placed a stumbling block before the people with nothing more than a lollipop of nothing more than what would have been classified as a big, huge candy cane peppermint, waiting for them to grab a hold of it so you could put the noose around their neck, the little hook, pull them into the fire once again. Boy, you are so slick, one might think. Why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? I've been asking the question, but it seems like all of the people that I asked the question haven't been able yet to figure out that it was because of you, United States of America, because you taught them that way of life. That's why the people plot a vain thing. That's why, because all of the nations are part of being the people. And all the people have had you as a teacher when it came down to manipulation, lying, yes, raping, child molesting, money laundering, murder. You have been the teacher for everyone on the planet. Your examples. You have led by your examples, and your example has brought you to be the leader of nothing more than corruption. I dare you. So now, I'm pretty sure that all of the listeners of the United States of America will finally now be able to answer the question, why do the nations rage and the people plot a vain thing? Because they have had the greatest teacher that anyone could have imagined. And it has all been that nation which classified itself to be one nation under God. A great teacher. A great example. They set forth making everyone on the planet follow their example. Whenever you get angry with your neighbor, only because your neighbor tells you to stop allowing your dog to poop in their yard, the first thing you do is you go out your neighbor. You tell everybody that make sure you don't feed them. Make sure you don't allow them to drink water if they ever lose that ability to do so. You just shut them off out of the community only because they did not want your dog to poop in their yard. You go right ahead. You have set a great example. And now you're trying to set forth another great example, you would say. You're going to find it in the kindness of your heart, you would say. So finally put a female in the White House as president. But you want to do it by the slickest way you can do it. Let's just put her in as vice, and we know that once he dies out, she's going to be classified as the president for at least whatever time he leaves. And I know you're waiting. You're praying that it only be at the last moment. You want him to at least be in his last year of 4 years. And then she'll take it over. And then everything that will happen, you will blame her. Only that you might be able to run a younger, a much more vibrant, and a much more what you deem to be slickster like